All right, Penny, you've been telling me you've had anxiety for the past 3 months due to school. You're in fear of failing 2 classes, and you've been having issues taking tests, going to class. Is that right?
Yeah. There's some days it's tough to get out of bed because I know it's going to be another uphill struggle for the day. Because usually I start off pretty well, but I know it's coming on at some point, and it can be a little fearful.
I think this is our time to get to know each other. I might be asking you a few more questions than I normally would.
Okay.
See your perspective.
Sure.
When you think of school and taking tests, what emotions trouble you?
Like I said before, it's not the actual test, but it's more I'm afraid that I'm gonna screw up because I don't know if I'm gonna get out of control or not as far as how I'm feeling at the time of the exam. And I think that I can do well if I put my mind to it, but my mind's not always there for it. So I guess it would be just afraid of failing.
Afraid of failing?
Mhm.
Okay. When you're feeling anxious or nervous, what images or pictures come to mind? What does that fear of failure look like in your eyes?
Well, I've always been in school, so I don't really have a good sense of what it's going to be like after yet. I did have a job when I was in high school and throughout the summers, so I know how to work, but I'm afraid of if I don't do what I have to do now and get good grades, that I'm not going to be able to get that job that I want and eventually build towards a better future. I see myself working at like a McDonald's for years instead of as a law clerk where I'm learning and benefiting other people and helping out with cases. So I think a lot of it has to do with I'm just afraid that I'm not going to live up to the expectations of my own goals.
Okay. Talking about your goals and wanting to be a law clerk, what kind of skills do you think are needed?
Well, I think you have to be driven and you have to be focused. And right now, I lack both of those.
Can you tell me why?
A lot of times when I'm trying to motivate myself, I do get a little edgy, like I've been feeling, and I kind of get myself overwhelmed with that feeling instead of just focusing on what I should be doing. I seem to be spending my time and energy just worrying about that anxiety and that the almost out of control feeling instead of focusing on the task at hand.
Are there certain things that you can notice before the anxiety sets in? Are there certain things that happen in your body? Does your heart rate? Do you start to sweat?
Now that you say that, I can notice some of those things. I hadn't really thought about it, but I do feel, when I say it's that edgy feeling, I think it does have a lot, it could be something to do with my heart beating faster. Maybe I just, maybe I hyperventilate a little. I kind of let myself get a little out of control, and I think a lot of the feelings that precede that are just that fear that I can't do it anymore.
Okay, now that you can notice your symptoms, what are you doing prior to the symptoms setting in? Before you start to sweat, before you start to get nervous, before you start to get jittery, what are you doing physically? Are you in class? Are you on your way to class?
I don't know if going to class is necessarily bringing on those feelings, but when I'm looking at my workload and what I have to get done, I think that's where a lot of that to an exam is definitely one of those moments where it's almost like an impending doom, like bad is gonna happen, instead of me just being able to hold my head up high and say I'm gonna be successful in this. Um, so I would say it's mostly related to just the things I have to get done instead of just going to class. I really enjoy class. I enjoy sitting there and learning, but I wouldn't say that I get that anxious feeling in class. Um, but I do notice that when I am in class, I don't really focus like I used to. My mind does wander, and sometimes there will be minutes, and I'll refocus into the class, and I'll be totally lost because I don't know what they've been talking about for the last 5, 10 minutes.
Okay, when you say you lose focus, what are you thinking of at that time?
Um, Again, I think it goes back to a lot of the things I have to do for the day, and instead of being in the moment, I'm thinking hours down the road, like, oh, this is what's going to happen, and this is what I have to get done. Um, and so maybe some of those, the heart racing might start again, but like I said, I don't think I really feel anxious. I just kind of feel like a little overwhelmed.
Do you set time aside to structure? Do you have a calendar or an agenda so you can write down things that you have to do in?
Absolutely. I've been using that since I was in high school. And what was great was throughout high school and until the last few months in this semester, that was my best friend. It would always help me to plan out study breaks, or study time and breaks, and I always knew what I needed to do and what I needed to get done, and I think it really led towards me being very highly structured. But it's just now I look at it and I'm almost afraid to open it. At the beginning of the semester, I planned out all my exams and my major projects that were due. All the due dates were there, and I think that exercise was one of the first things where the anxiousness started to come up.
Are there some things that you would like to do more that you have done in the past that maybe have lessened?
Yeah, go out with my friends. I used to make it a point that at least Thursday or Friday night, I'd be totally dedicated to being out with people. I've developed great friendships, well, the last 4 years, and I really value my friends, and I always made sure that I was out at least one full night, and those nights had nothing to do with school. We were completely just socializing. But since um, these feelings have kind of come up and overwhelmed me, I don't have that same um, desire to go out because I think a lot of times I'm still thinking about school. And when I have gone out, it hasn't been enjoyable. It just hasn't been the same. And I think I'm sure my friends notice, but no one's really said much to me because I don't really open up too much to them.
When you go out now and you say it's less enjoyable, is it because you don't focus on the actual social content? Do you think about other things when you're there?
I think about other things, but I think I'm just disinterested. I when everyone's getting around or whatever, I kind of just feel like, it's just not fun.
Why do you think that's changed since you were in school? You talk about how the first 3 years you loved going out. It seemed to help you relax. You dedicated 2 days out of the week just to friends, just to relaxation, and now you're disinterested.
I think it's more fun to be home now because I feel comfortable there. When I am home, I don't generally have a lot of those out of control jitteriness, because I don't really study at home. I've always used the library as a place for me to focus, and so I think, maybe being at home is just more fun for me because I'm more comfortable, and I just, when I'm home, I feel safe, like it's where it should be, and when I'm out with people, I kind of feel like it's an obligation.
Do large amounts of people make you nervous?
No, I'm a very social person, I've always loved people. When I was in high school, I was a cheerleader, and it was fun, and always being in the front of pep rallies and everything, getting everyone all amped up for football games and basketball games. That was fun for me, and even when I started school, I was always going to events, spirit events, and get to know you events, things like that, and I was very involved. And my sophomore year, I was an RA, so I got to know quite a few people. That really helped me a lot to really become a very grounded, solid person. But I just, I feel like I've kind of made my friends, and I'm fine now. I don't really need to make more friends.
Okay, so when you tell me you feel obligated when you go out around people, what do you feel obligated to do?
To be there.
And could you explain a little more?
I don't like turning my friends down when they ask me to go out, but I've noticed more and more I have been, and I have been getting comments from them, and it kind of makes me feel bad, because I feel like I'm letting them down, even though maybe I'm not, but I feel like I am, and so when I'm actually there, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not letting them down now, and so it's more of just because I don't want to let them down, I'm there, so it's like an obligation.
Have you tried to maybe invite them to your house and see if that would change how you feel? So you're not out in public, but you're at home where you feel like you're safe haven?
No, I haven't really invited them back too much recently. I live by myself, which is nice, because then I have that kind of sanctuary from having to be around people, because maybe sometimes when I'm around people, I do kind of feel a little overwhelmed. Now that I think about it, I haven't really thought about it too much. But when I'm home, I don't feel that way, and I don't really want people messing up that safe place for me. Even though they're my friends, and I don't think they would negatively impact me, but I do still feel like that's my place.
So would you say that you like to spend more time by yourself or with other people?
I think I'm with people as much as I'm by myself.
Alright. Talking about your feelings of being nervous, you seem to understand them. You understand what it feels like, you understand how your body reacts. Have you tried any plans or any strategies to help stop this kind of nervous sensation?
Well, more recently I've been going to the gym and running a lot more. And when I'm running, I get into my own little like a Zen-like mode, and there is no overwhelming feelings or emotions. So I think that's helped, but I know myself well, and it's kind of just a temporary break, kind of like being home. It always comes back. It always does. And like I said before, when I wake up in the morning, I know it's coming. So the things I've tried haven't worked. And I thought maybe if I tried studying in another place, or maybe studying with other people, it might help, but it really hasn't. It still brings me back to that overwhelmed, jittery feeling.
So you tell me that when you wake up, it's like an impending feeling.
Yeah.
That you know is coming. That at some point you're going to feel anxious or nervous or jittery. What thoughts are crossing your mind when you wake up? specifically, what do you see that would be causing you to get nervous or jittery, that you know that it's coming?
Well, when I wake up, it's almost like I forgot it happened the day before. It's almost like I have a fresh start, and when I lay there for a little bit, it's probably the best moments of the day. But then the realization of what my life has become comes back. And I think what really prompts that is just just knowing what I had the day before, and just the endless cycle of things I'm going through. It's just makes me feel like, I'm kind of hopeless.
Okay, since most of these negative thoughts appear to happen in the morning when you wake up, have you tried anything like meditation or yoga or listening to smooth music or anything in the morning to maybe put your mind at ease and have more peaceful thoughts?
I haven't really tried any of that. I usually just wake up and get a shower and just kind of try to ignore it. Um, I I go to class every day. I don't always go to my first class, I sometimes sleep through it. But I always make it a point to go every day to at least one class. But it's just the same thing every day, and I'm very tired of it. I don't know really how to change it. And I'm smart enough, I understand myself, but I don't understand how to change it.